What's up, guys? I'm Dr. Donald. Thanks for tuning in. I'm one of the co-founders of Kinetic Impact. I wanted to do a brief overview of age-related sarcopenia today. So what the heck does that mean? That is essentially the age-related loss of muscle strength and physical function that happens as we age and accelerates as we age. It's an important topic to me personally because I see so many clients and patients that are coming from injuries that they've had for years and years and years, and they've been told to rest and avoid things. And I think this is really important because when you avoid things, that is like a vicious circle because you stop doing things and you're unable to do some of the stuff that you like to do before, or just are less able to interact with the world in different ways like you were before. So I think this is very important, and it's a passion of mine to help people increase their health span. And I think the idea here is to die as young as possible, as late as possible, right? And be as independent as humanly possible, even on the day that we go. And unfortunately, that's really not what we're seeing in especially the United States. The World Health Organization estimates that on average we live the last 16 years of our life with some sort of chronic disability, with some sort of disability. And I think that's tragic. And it's my hope that I can help you guys understand the importance of physical activity and staying active as we age, despite the aches and pains that may come along with it. Most of the time they're okay, and it's much more risky to be inactive than it is to have these aches and pains when you are active. And this is what keeps us young, right? And it's not just the muscle wasting, but it's our ability to produce power as we age. That is very, very important to reduce the risk of falls, which we see on the rise. And we realize, because think about it, you have to contract the muscles really fast to catch yourself when falling. And if you can't, then you have the risk of falling and breaking a hip, and then comes the further disuse, and people don't die from broken hip, they die from the inability to move their body afterwards, right? So powerpenia, or the lack of power, should be considered a biomarker of healthy aging, and that is because we see a drastic decrease in power when we age, right? Disproportional to the amount of muscle tissue that we lose. It's more so the power we lose, right? And this is very important, and if we don't move it, we do lose it, right? And it's unfortunate to see that the aging population is the least active out of the population when we look at lifelong exercise throughout our lives. And we realize that the aging population is at risk, most at risk for a lot of these things. So if we want to help ourselves age gracefully and age in a healthy manner, we need to engage in these physical activities and engage with the world around us so we can have more options to engage with the world around us. And it's important to know that it's never too late, but the earlier the better, right? If we look at the active individual versus the inactive individual, and we just look at leg muscle circumference and the amount of leg muscle that they have, just looking at the tissue itself, we know that an active 74-year-old staves off, like a triathlete, for example, staves off that muscle wasting. And we compare it to a 40-year-old, they actually have very similar muscle mass because they've stayed active. So it's not just the aging, it's not really the aging, it's the fact that somebody is inactive is the risk of muscle loss and independence loss as we age, right? If we look at the muscle mass of the inactive 74-year-old, we see that it's shriveled away and it's replaced by fat tissue, right? So a metabolic standpoint, this is awful. We don't expend energy as well either, right? And that 74-year-old with the shriveled muscle and the fat tissue is much more likely to need help and be much more dependent on those around him or her when they're aging. It's not the aging that's causing the muscle loss. It's really the inactivity. Right? And we know, and when we compare 1 year of exercise versus 1 year without exercise, we see drastic differences in functional outcomes like sit to stand, being able to walk, really being able to navigate the world around us. We see a drastic difference from those who exercise for a year versus those who don't exercise for a year, right? And think about how powerful that is, right? Just a year's worth of exercise can change your options of how you navigate the world around you as you age, right? That is healthy aging, right? If that was sold in a pill, it would sell for millions of dollars, right? And it's just simple physical activity, engaging in physical activity and exercise. 2 times a week resistance training, where you're straining those muscles really hard, and regular cardiovascular exercise. Because the fact of the matter is, as we age, we see in our population the increase of chronic health problems by age drastically increases. And a lot of this has to do with being inactive, right? It's not the aging process that's really killing our bodies and capabilities, especially. It's the inactivity. It's the lack of exercise, the lack of activity. Training sensation leads to greater loss in VO2 max than does ages. Let me say that again. Training cessation leads to greater loss in VO2 max, which is your heart and lungs' ability to expel oxygen and give you oxygen. It is more affected by stopping training than it is aging itself. And I think this is extremely positive, because if we are physically active, we could stave off the aging process. We are biologically younger. You can, if you start exercising and you meet those standards of 2 times a week resistance training and cardiovascular training on a regular basis, well, you can literally blow out less candles on your birthday the next year, because you are literally anti-aging. Right? You are aging much healthier. And I want to show you a video of me working with my mom, training my mom virtually, and introducing her to, in this video, step-ups. And this is one of the first times she's ever done step-ups, and she's got 30 pounds in her hands, and we're challenging her muscles to lift her up on that little step. Right? And I've been training her for a 1.5 to 2 years now, and this has afforded her different options. She loves to ski, loves to stay physically active, and now we are making sure she doesn't waste away her muscles, especially on the off season of ski season. And now she's able to do a forward lunge, and where she used to not even be able to get down without touching her knee, right? And the main point here is this is how I treat my family, because this is what I truly believe in. And this is why when we work with somebody at Kinetic Impact, we teach each and every person how to build muscle mass, become athletic as possible, and as confident as possible with their body, right? So they can get the most out of their body for the longest possible and have the longest health span they absolutely can, because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, we want to be as healthy for as long as possible. We want to die young as possible, as late as possible. I hope you guys like this video. If you do, please like, subscribe. Share with a friend that you think would be helpful. Again, the take-home message is the risk of being inactive because of aches and pains is far more risky than being physically active with the side effects of some aches and pains that may come along with it. And if you need help from a professional, find one who is willing to work with you to find a plan to become as athletic as possible and as confident as possible with your body through exercise and physical activity. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to talking to you guys more.